Okay, I will go ahead. Welcome to Ikebana for beginners. My name is Miranda. We do have chat moderators, Jessica and Emma. They'll be monitoring the chat for any questions. Before we begin, we will need to let you know some ground rules that we've set up for today's program. You will be muted during this class, and we have our video blocked. You will only see the instructor's screen. At the top of your screen, you can find an exit full screen option if you need to get to other things on your computer. You are welcome to ask questions or request that the instructor repeat information at any time during today's program. You should see an icon at the bottom of your screen that says chat. Click on that to open the chat window. Chat is set to be seen by library staff only. If you prefer, you may also use the Q&A feature located at the bottom of your screen to ask questions. Please note that any inappropriate questions or comments will cause your immediate removal from today's program. For all other questions, we may answer you directly in the chat or Q&A box. Hold the question until a break or the end of the class, or ask questions at that time if it is pressing. We will be using the instructor's screen to demonstrate and share any additional resources. And a recording of today's program will be available in a few days. So if you'd like to watch today's program and then rewatch the recording later, that is an option. With the ground rules out of the way, let's get started. Okay, so welcome and thank you for coming to Ikebana for beginners. Again, I'm Miranda. This program is geared towards adults interested in learning about the history and culture of Ikebana. So some of our agenda today is what is Ikebana, the history of Ikebana, some cultural elements and meanings, some techniques and styles that are used, the different tools that are used, and then we do have a pre-recorded demonstration at the end. Okay, so what is Ikebana? Ikebana is the art of flower arranging that originates in ancient Japan. It is practiced as an art where flowers and other natural elements are placed in such a way as to embody harmony, peace, and beauty. Ikebana is considered to be one of the top 3 major forms of cultural arts, along with tea ceremony and calligraphy. So what is the significance of Ikebana in Japanese culture? It's considered important in Japanese society for several reasons. The practice of Ikebana is thought to promote mindfulness and spiritual awareness by demanding discipline and concentration. It's also believed that practicing Ikebana makes a person more patient and open-minded towards the differences in nature and life. In this way, Ikebana can be seen as a spiritual practice, a way to connect with the natural world and achieve a state of inner peace and tranquility. Besides, in traditional Japanese culture, the appreciation of nature is deeply integrated and considered a way of life. So Ikebana, the art of the flower arrangement, is where the arrangement of natural elements is done with utmost care and respect. Ikebana is seen as an expression of connection between humans and the natural world, where every flower, stem, and leaf are carefully chosen to create harmony between the arrangement and its surroundings. The appreciation for nature goes beyond admiring the beauty of flowers. It encompasses a deep respect for the natural world, including the recognition of the transience of all things, the cycle of life and death, and the changing seasons. Okay, so now we're on the history, and it is believed that Ikebana came to Japan along with Buddhism from China between the 6th and 8th century through the Silk Road. With the introduction of Buddhism in Japan, the Buddhist priests would offer flowers to Buddha, signifying a deep spiritual connection with nature. Over time, the flower arrangements offered to Buddha, aka Ikebana, became more sophisticated with rules established for proper placement of branches and flowers. Initially, only Buddhist priests were adept at Ikebana, but as its popularity grew, it reached noblemen and samurai. And by the 16th century, Senkei Ikenobo founded the Ikenobo school, setting the foundation for the Rike style, the oldest style of Ikebana. It uses 7 main branches symbolizing natural elements like mountain peaks, hills, waterfalls, valleys, with 2 remaining branches representing positive and negative elements. I know this is a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions as of right now?
Not seeing anything in the chat, Miranda.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so here are some photos that kind of show the older written practices. So the first photo is an old printed document from the early Edo period, believed to contain Ikebana teachings of the Muromachi period. A drawing of flowers arranged as part of a Mitsugusoku, a set of 3 ceremonial objects is included. I know it's very blurry. It's the only picture I could find. The second image is from the Ikenobo Sino Kuden, and this is the version that was handed down in 1537. It describes the philosophy and techniques of Ikebana. And the last photo is believed to be the oldest manuscript of Ikebana teachings handed down in Ikenobo. It dates from 1486 to 1499. That's kind of just the range for that. Okay, next we have our cultural elements and meanings. So the oldest form of Ikebana derived from the Buddhist tradition. Buddhist monks refined the art of arranging flowers to embody paradise and harmony throughout different plants. The Rika style uses 7 or 9 stems positioned to guide flower placement. It also uses pine and other tree branches to complement the flower. So for the first one, we have Shin, which is considered the spiritual mountain. It's also the highest point of the Rika composition, and it's a representation of heaven. Second, number 2, we have Uke, which is the summit one can reach. Number 3, we have Hikai or Tai, which is called achieving balance. And this position helps harmonize other flowers and represents earth. Then number 4 is Shou Shin, called the waterfall. And it is the centerpiece of the arrangement. Number 5, we have Soe, the second tallest branch, and it's supposed to complement the Shin, and it is the branch that represents man. Number 6 is Nagashi, called the stream. This branch reinforces the representation of nature in the piece. Number 7, we have Mikoshi, called the mist dividing the sacred from the common. This position defines the tension between heaven and earth. And number 8 is do, which is the body of the arrangement. And the do uses greenery to disguise the water containers or other technical components of the arrangement. And lastly, we have 9, me oke, the front body, and it usually adds attractiveness, aesthetic elements to complement the greenery. Okay, and here's just some example photos of the Riga style dating from 1673 to 1698. I will say photo number 3 is unique compared to the others as it looks to be the largest arrangement compared to the other photos, as it does take up 2 pages instead of 1, but it still has all the elements that we previously seen. So I'll just let you guys take a minute to look at those. And then do we have any questions about these images? Okay, moving on, we have some modern examples. These are all made around the 2010s, and we can still see some of the elements from the traditional Rika Ikebana style. You can see number 4 has all 9 elements from their traditional. Again, I'll let you guys take a minute to look at all these pictures. Okay, and continuing on with our history, there's a shift of Ikebana during the Edo period to begin with the ascendancy of the samurai class from the 14th century. Feudal lords gained stature and supremacy, and they wished to display their wealth and power. So the first tokonoma, or alcoves, were built in homes and palaces, no doubt to display their suits of armor, as we see in the second photographs. But once the unification of the nation, aka the Edo period, was established and peaceful times arrived, art objects, including flower arrangements, began to be displayed, as we can see in the other pictures. So during Edo period, Japan enjoyed internal peace and steady economy growth. Ikebana, once the exclusive Buddhist monk members of the courts and aristocracy, became practiced more widely by samurai, wealthy merchants, and others during Edo period. And the Rika style, which originated in the 16th century, became more elaborate. It became common for Ikebana masters to write treatises on the principles of creating a truly beautiful Rika arrangement. And Rika was considered to be a miniature landscape where tall branches represented mountain peaks and horizontal branches symbolized rivers. Creating an exquisite Rika arrangement required immense skill and artistry, which we saw some of these in the previous slides. Towards late Edo period, a simpler style of flower arrangements emerged called shoka, and unlike Rika, which was often comprised of 7 or 9 components and very intricate, shoka arrangements typically consisted of just the 3 elements. The balance of shoka arrangements are triangular based on the 3 main lines: shin, so, and the hike or tai. These branches are placed near the base for the structure. These symbolize heaven, man, and earth. Thus, the arrangement represents the whole universe. And this style made Ikebana more accessible than ever before. And here are some examples of the Shoka period. They are very different compared to Rika, as they are a bit more slender and tall, and of course use less pieces. Before moving on, do we have any questions? Okay. So after the Edo period, known to be Japan's isolation period, was the Meiji period, which Japan began to prosper while focusing on international relations. Innovation came from abroad in the form of technological advancement and economic opportunities. As citizens gained money, they gained political influence, and these merchants' prices influenced on the society. So, with the rise of the national tide of civilization and enlightenment in the early Meiji era, tendency to make light of the traditional cultural prevailed among the people. So essentially in this period, Ikebana declined, and so the government stepped in to revitalize Ikebana, and they required lessons into girls' education to make good wives and wise mothers, which ultimately helped Ikebana not die out during Meiji period. And then so after World War II, Ikebana kind of spread throughout the world, specifically in the United States. Picture number 3 does show Miss Allen, who was stationed in Japan with her husband during the end of World War II, where she discovered what Ikebana was and attended school for it and wanted to learn more about it, and then brought it back to the United States and started a school here in the US. And as we can see, Ikebana is now more vibrant and bigger. When we look at pictures 1 and 2, they're not something small that you would offer to Buddha. They're now considered like works of art. Okay. And then here's some more examples of Ikebana in less traditional settings and in more public settings. So photo 1 was created by an art company called Naked, which they are known for creating digital art spaces with skillfully utilizing projection mapping and music. This Ikebana arrangement was held in Nihonbashi Mitsu Hall in Tokyo from 2016 to 2020. And it's the first known piece that brings Ikebana and technology together. The second photo is at a shopping mall in Tokyo called Ginza Place. This Ikebana is called New Year 2018 Flower, and it's created for the celebration of the 2018 New Year. Kyoto Station Building East Plaza Illumination is the photo for number 3. It's a Japanese picture scroll of lights. It's showing the 4 seasons, so 4 gods creating new ideas from the past, which expresses the direction governed by the four gods of blue dragon, red bird, white tiger, black tortoise through the movements of bamboo and the momentum of plants. I know it's very tiny, but there's a spotlight on the Ikebana that you can see in number 3. And then number 4 was a campaign held at a department store of the Mitsukoshi East End Group in 2017. The model is wearing a costume of flowers designed by fashion designer Yoshikazu Yamagata and one big flower. The concept was dressing becomes flowers, flowers become human. The work represents the awakening of power of spring and concept of apparent in both the costume and the Ikebana. Do we have any questions about modern day Ikebana? No? Okay. So here are some techniques and styles that are commonly used when doing Ikebana. Many types of evergreen have heavy sap, which becomes soft when heated and hard again when cooled. Place the part of the branch you wish to bend over a candle flame while gently bending it to the desired angle, then plunging the heated section into cold water until completely cool. Now, obviously, this one was a method used way before there was electricity, so this was what the monks used when they were doing Ikebana. Another method is with hollowed stem flowers, which can easily be straightened with thin wire. So you simply push the wire gently up from the bottom of the stem. Or you can also use a thinner stem to put inside a thicker stem, and this lets you create more complex angles as you can bend the stem easier. And then cutting flower stems, not underwater, allows air to go inside the stem. So cutting the stem underwater allows the flower to receive water first, which makes the flower last longer. It's best to submerge and leave the stem for about 30 minutes. It's not necessary. And then cutting the stem at an angle makes it easier to insert and stabilize the stem into the kanzen or the frog or the base, which is a tool we will get to. Another thing is crushing the stem. So it sounds weird, but crushing the stem can prolong the life of your flowers by dramatically increasing the surface area to absorb water. This technique can also assist in creating compositions with numerous types of flowers, such as in the Rika arrangement. And do we have any questions about styles and techniques? Okay. And so here are some tools that are used in Ikebana. We do have the kazai, which are just the flowers and plants, branches, other natural elements, usually chosen for the season. Then we have the kaki, or the vase. The choice of vase depends on the space in which the piece will be displayed, as well as the kanzen being used. So we have seen earlier with long vases, usually it's shorter or smaller stems, but it really just depends on the space and what you're trying to showcase. And then we have the hanakiri, which are scissors. They're special type of scissors designed for hard cutting branches and stems with great precision. And then finally, we have the Kenzan, which is the base. It's a pad with pins to allow the stems to be placed at an angle. And if taken care of, this item can be reused multiple times. Okay. And here are some resources that we do offer in the library. Throughout this program, I did do research with these books, so you can take a screenshot of this right now, or again, this will be posted later on YouTube. As always, you can put holds on these items. Okay, and then do we have any questions? Jessica, Emma, anything?
Nothing in the chat.
Perfect. Okay, so then next we will show the pre-recorded demonstration. So let's see. Okay. You guys see
Welcome
the
to the
video,
demonstration
right?
portion of today's program.
Yep, it's
Here are
going.
the supplies needed.
Oh, I can hear it.
A bowl of water, the vase with water and the kenzan, the hanakiri or flower cutters, and fresh flowers of your choosing. In today's demonstration, we will follow a traditional structure represented by three main components: shen, soe, and hike. First is the shen, or spiritual mountain, the highest point of the Ikebana arrangement, also known as the heavens. I will be trying to find a piece that best represents the shen, and it will be placed in the back center of the kenzan. As you recall from the presentation, we will be cutting the stem underwater at a 45-degree angle and leave the stem in the water for a few seconds to keep the freshness of the flower. We will do this for every piece. The next stem to be placed is the soe, which is the second tallest stem. It is also the stem that represents man. This stem will be placed to the arranger's left side and slightly bent to 45 degrees. Extra leaves and branches can be taken off the stem to achieve balance and harmony. Finally, we have the hikai, the shortest piece that represents earth and brings balance to the whole arrangement. I will have this beautiful lily that I will be using as the hikai. With the structure in place, we begin adding flowers and foliage. In Ikebana, we use flowers sparingly, choosing them for their unique shapes and colors. Ikebana stands as a reflection of nature's beauty, capturing the essence of heaven, humanity, and earth in perfect harmony. As with all art forms, there is no right or wrong in Ikebana. Now, your Ikebana arrangement is complete. The arrangement you have created is a unique expression of your vision and your connection to the world around you.
Okay, thank you for attending our virtual program. I will ask if there's any last minute questions. No? Okay, so you can always visit our website at planolibrary.org for any information. Again, thank you for attending our program on Ikebana for Beginners.